First of all, it's very important to reflect why Building Bridges was founded.
My recollection is that some statements were made by a prosecutor in the Washington County District Attorney's Office.
And it wasn't the first time there's been an incident in our community, but we had an incident involving a prosecutor who was working in the DA's office who posted things on her Facebook page that were hateful and offensive.
That really served to label and demonize certain members of our community, our beloved community.
I, at the time, was the Washington County Sheriff, and I and some of our senior leaders came to the Muslim Educational Trust. We met with Wajdi.
Wajdi and a number of other community elders were able to keep communication open with the most difficult government agencies. Difficult during good times, really difficult during hard times.
To be honest with you, the planning process was very difficult. We had many difficult conversations around this table, and it got uncomfortable at many times. And there were so many different opinions on how we should, or especially the first one, on how we should organize this, who we should invite.
It was a learning experience for both parties, law enforcement, the DA's office, and our community as a whole.
So the tragedy, the incident, when law enforcement exercised their power, to speak very divisive statement as the Deputy DA of Washington County, Joey Smith, did. It wasn't acceptable. I mean, there is already a fear by minorities and marginalized communities that mistrust law enforcement, and then her statement was a very irresponsible statement. But lucky we have, the voice of wisdom within law enforcement, like Sheriff Garrett, came to this discussion, even, and at that time we didn't have any relationship with the DA office, Washington County DA office. But we get to know Kevin Barton. At that time he was the Deputy DA. So the trust of Sheriff Garrett, the trust of our U.S. Attorney, Billy Williams, and the community-based, the Urban League CEO, Nick Henge, and the New Portland Foundation, Mr. Shodozono, and our dear brother, Ronald Polo Catalani, came, to engage, in the founding of this organization.
Boy, I've been with Building Bridges in one role or another for a good part of the last decade. I started initially as the Director of the Criminal Justice Commission. I would come to Building Bridges, take part in helping build out the agendas and share data and talk about the trends going on in the state of Oregon. As the elected District Attorney of Multnomah County, obviously I was also a participant talking a lot about how we could build trust in communities with law enforcement. And now in my role as General Counsel of the Urban League of Portland, working for another community provider that is engaged in doing work to advance community partnerships, relationships, building trust, especially for Urban League in the Black community, being a participant, helping with the work that you're doing here at Building Bridges continues to be part of the mission.
When we first launched Building Bridges 10 years ago now, I think that one of my goals was to make sure that we could build not just relationships, but enduring relationships that were meaningful and that were lasting with parts of the community that I didn't necessarily see on a daily basis. So, every day, people in my office are interacting with police officers and community members who've had themselves either witnessing a crime or they've been a victim of a crime, and partners that we work with. But there's whole segments of our community that we don't always have the opportunity to interact with on a day-to-day or a regular basis. And so the beauty of what we, I think, conceived of in Building Bridges was a way to build that communication opportunity with aspects and areas of our community that we don't always see, so that when there is a need for there to be a more urgent communication, when something does happen or when there's community questions that come up, that dialogue and that bridge is already there. It's a well-traveled bridge, so that it's not a stranger on the other end of the line, and we can have that communication and collaboration.
After a series of conversations and meetings about building stronger connections with our communities, we set about to create a collaborative effort through very diverse communities to include law enforcement and civil society to study, to better educate ourselves about the racial and ethnic disparities that exist in our community and explore ways to rebuild them. And so when there is an issue that comes up, if there is whether it's someone on the public safety side or someone in the community that there's a negative stereotype that gets promulgated, if you will, and we need to have a conversation about that, then we know who to call, right? Because I know if I don't, through our Building Bridges community, know who to reach out to, I know somebody who will know.
The relationships that people can say, I know someone across the table from me, that we've broken bread together, that we've talked, we've discussed some very deep and personal issues, that you can't look at that in a small way. That is huge.
Balancing the voices of community-based organizations with those of law enforcement has been one of the central challenges and strengths of Building Bridges. Too often in society, these two groups speak past each other, or worse, we operate in silos. What this initiative has shown us is that progress only happens when both perspectives are heard with equal weight. Community-based organizations bring lived experience, cultural wisdom, and the urgency of addressing the daily realities of marginalized communities. Law enforcement brings authority, resources, and responsibility for public safety. When one voice dominates, trust breaks down, but when both are in dialogue, grounded in respect and transparency, we begin to see trust rebuilt.
I think one of the more enlightening and frankly fun opportunities is bringing people together that you know they don't understand each other. They may not even like each other. They probably don't want to be there. And yet, what a great opportunity to engage and help people to realize they're not. They may be far apart ideologically about a variety of things, but in terms of humanity, they're not. And it's sort of like getting people, with all of the political division that is going on in the country, and it has been going on for way too long. I think people would, if they have those opportunities to engage and build the bridges of understanding, they're going to realize they have more in common than what they think, right? And there's a value in those efforts. They're not always going to be successful, but what's the alternative to do nothing?
Whenever you're involved in a group for so long, you experience all the feelings, right? It's that spectrum of it can be a lot of fun, it can be challenging, it can be frustrating. Just like any relationship you'll maintain over a decade. So it's been all of that. And you see people come and people go, and then there's been a core group of people who've been here since the beginning. But I think really what it's allowed us to do is establish that fundamental base and build friendships over time. I feel comfortable walking in here. I feel comfortable calling Wajdi if I need anything, or Linda or anybody else in the community who's been partners through all of this.
To be honest, with the current administration, I really think that Building Bridges Summit should be a platform used to really address the issues that are affecting our community. We really know, we should all know, these are difficult times, and many of the executive orders are affecting a lot of people in our community and other communities as well. So I believe this should be used. This is a great platform to address all of this. Even one at a time. It doesn't have to be all at once because there are so many things going on, but at least we should make an intentional effort to address the issues that our community members are suffering from and are dealing with on a daily basis that the world can be ignoring.
Unfortunately, education is an ongoing process. Different generations forget about the past, and we need to educate the new people here, young people, about diversity in our community and acceptance of all people, different background, different religious background, ethnic background. So it's an ongoing process of repeating, so we would not repeat history again. Happened to Japanese Americans in 1942, happening after Arab Americans after 9/11. The new generation has to be taught the past and not repeat the mistakes of the past.
I just want to celebrate this moment with all of you and express my deep love and respect for the MET and for the efforts you have made over and over and again in this state, in this community, to build bridges, to continue to be steadfast in your support for reaching out beyond your own community. It's an example for the rest of us, and I'm grateful for that example you have made.